Hello and welcome. In this particular session, I'm going to show you how you can create an AI movie that has a potential of going viral. When I say has a potential, there is nothing that's absolutely guaranteed with YouTube. Okay. You can make the best of videos, you can launch it out there on YouTube, and there's a possibility it might not do as well. Now, of course, this is a big demotivational factor. It's not going to motivate anybody to follow along and watch this video. But if you're in for a skill, if you want to learn a skill on how you can use AI technology, prompting, in order to create some of the images that you never thought possible, and some of the videos that you never thought possible, and really to express yourself and to express certain things that are going on in the world and to send messages with AI movies, this is the video for you. So without further ado, let's dive right into it, shall we? So, all right, so let's get going. First, I'd like to show you one very cool thing, which is some of the images I created for this movie. All right, so particularly in the case of this incredible movie, I have created a bunch of images, and these images are going to take part in the movie. Now, of course, I had created other images for another movie, which I am thinking about combining everything together and launching one movie of about maybe 3 minutes or 3 or 4 minutes. The idea is to generate a movie that showcases the impact of us humans on, particularly on mankind. All right, or not mankind, but on Earth. All right, and you could definitely do this through prompts, through AI tools, such as what we're going to teach you. So here we have this image. This is what you call a image that was generated by AI. Okay, but bottom line is, if you don't know how to prompt AI, you will not be able to make or create images like this. Okay, so it takes a bit of, not a bit, but it takes some experience and guidance, which you're going to get from me in this particular tutorial, if you, of course, have the discipline to stick around until the end. Of course, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Ron Hemza. I have around 230 plus thousand students on Udemy, which is one of the biggest platforms for online learning. And now they've combined with Coursera, a lot of bestsellers. I think in my career, I probably had maybe at least 20 best-selling courses or more. I think more than that. Um, Best-selling worldwide. And then I also have 130 plus thousand students that I've taught on a platform called known as Allison. And here on YouTube, we've only started to introduce ourselves lately and start publishing some videos for the sake of people that are enthusiasts of AI and want to learn how they can use AI to create incredible stuff. Now, some of these images that you can see here on the screen are can be considered as graphic, but to be honest with you, these are just what we need to demonstrate, some of what's going on. So, this technique that I have used is a technique that aims to show a message in a very, very clear way with an image, which of course we will turn later into a video. But when you first look at this, your first instinct is to think, "Oh my, that's bad." Uh, so instead of showing multiple lions going extinct on a picture of maybe showcasing 200 lions extinct or 200 tigers extinct, you can just show one big colossal lion, and that kind of drives or kind of showcases that these animals are being hunted for their fur and for a lot of things, for their teeth and for other things that are so cruel that a lot of people, poachers and other people, they're bad people due to these animals, and that is driving nature extinct. So in other words, what you're trying to demonstrate is you're trying to demonstrate through this, you're trying to demonstrate a message, which is you know how brutal we can be, okay, as a human race. Now, of course, here this is an image that showcases a big factory driving some emissions in the air, and that's polluting a city. And you can see that people are living their lives almost as if nothing is happening. Okay, so they're completely clueless as to what's going on. Here, this is one of my favorites, showcasing uh, the hunting of bears. Here, showcasing the big love for meat and the gigantic colossal steak being cut by a colossal hand, and you can see the small cows over there. Here you can see that we are basically there's this is a machine that's absorbing the ocean, and the idea is not really absorbing the water itself because there is no such a thing as absorbing the ocean water, right? That's not generally what we do as humans, because I mean there's no point in absorbing seawater. It's absolutely not beneficial in any kind of way. All right, but there is a thing which is depopulating the ocean by destroying the ecosystem, and this is what I wanted to drive as a point using this particular image, which of course I then turned into a video, and I'll show you the entire workflow on how I will turn it into a video, into a complete video, a complete film. Here we have this one here, which is a deer, a shark, a giant. Everything is big. Everything is big to kind of showcase corporate greed. Now over here we have a particular chicken in a farm of billion or millions of chickens, and here on the other side we have a meat grinder grinding some chicken meat into some chicken, meat, ground chicken. Now, of course, here we have the air pollution through, emissions and through some other stuff, which basically in the end ends up driving some rain that is toxic rain to the plants and to the world. Here, how credit cards are destroying pretty much how destroying, not literally, but destroying the world figuratively, of course. And basically there's a lot of people that they max out on credit cards and they end up not being able to pay their debts. Okay, all right, so this one is pretty cool because it showcases the addiction to social media and to smartphones. In this case, that's an iPhone, right? Or at least that's what I think it is, because that's what I typed in the prompts on an iPhone. And there's a giant hand to kind of showcase that a phone is casting shadow on the entire city of New York, and basically it's the what most people are preoccupied with is scrolling through social media to the point where the sun is hidden. They cannot even look at the sun. They cannot even enjoy their lives and enjoy a moment of having clear and look at the sun. Here another one demonstrating tuna, pretty much tuna fishing, and how that can be destructive to the population of fish. And here we have gigantic, colossal plastic bags that are flying, all over, and they're pretty much destroying the ecosystem. Sorry for that. All right, I'm just gonna have a sip of water here. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so moving swiftly on. Now here, the videos I created were videos I used Google VEO3 in Flow. Okay, so if you have no idea what Flow is, it's the labs.google site, and you can go there and basically you can start generating videos. Of course, you'll have to pay in order to be able to generate these videos, but in order to generate Google VEO3 videos, you'll have to pay because the quality is just incredible. Now, there is a clear distinction between Google VEO3 and Sora 2. A lot of people compare both tools. Now, Google VEO3 is much more powerful when it comes to filmmaking. All right. It's just much more powerful. All right. Um, Sora is great when it comes to creating viral clips, right? The types of clips that you see on TikTok and on YouTube and across social media. That's what Sora 2 is good at. So it's about knowing what each tool is capable of, and it's about using each tool to the best of its ability and what it is most powerful at. What is its most powerful assets and qualities and characteristics. So for this one, you're going to have to use Google VEO3. Now, of course, to access Google VEO3, there's plenty of ways to use it. One of the best ways I'd like to use Google VEO3 is through Flow. Okay, so if you search Google VEO3, you can access it through multiple ways, either using Google DeepMind or using Google Gemini, which, by the way, Google Gemini is ChatGPT's or Google's own version of, let's just say, ChatGPT, or the competitor to ChatGPT. And in order to be able to generate videos using Gemini, you have to have the pro version of Gemini, and you can generate videos by clicking on create video here, and you can even go ahead and go as far as uploading a particular image here to use it as a base to generate your video, and type your prompts right here to be able to generate a video. Now here they're kind of giving you some help, and basically giving you some, you know, categories of videos that you can pick from depending on what it is that you'd like to create. And this can make it easy for you by just picking the category and typing a prompt, in which case the tool is going to be primed to give you the result that is most optimized for the category of film that you're trying to create. Now, the maximum amount that Google VEO3 can create is 8 seconds per clip. When you're using Google Gemini, you're only going to be able to generate 3 videos per day, even if you have the pro version. Now, in order to be able to generate more videos using Google VEO3, you have to go through labs.google, which is what I do, because you can purchase credits. And, if you ever need credits, you can just purchase more. Now, I'm going to click create with flow here for a second. Let me just go back. All right, so I'm logged in to Flow, and let's get started. So I'm gonna treat this as a new project, but first I need to show you how I managed to create those types of images as well as the videos and what the videos look like. So we're gonna go through some videos. For instance, here, let's just check this one out. This one. And by the way, videos that are generated using VEO3 and Sora too, they have sound to them, which is one of the things that people are so hyped up about. It's the ability of these tools to generate video with sound. Now, this video showcases how we are sucking the ocean dry. I'm going to show you a couple of other cool examples right here. So, for instance, this one is cutting that big steak. Here, for instance, how cigarettes are affecting the forests and burning the forests. All right. And of course, this is a scene created using Google VEO3. How about maybe particularly this one? I kind of like this one. Radioactive material. Showcasing how that can be very detrimental to the world. I'm not going to show videos where there's some cutting of animals, but though I'll give you an idea about my workflow. All right, so this one is pretty cool because it showcases the machine of war and what it does to civilization. And buildings that took years to build can be destroyed by the you know. All right, so here this is pretty much flow. But first, before you can use flow, you need to be able to generate an image. All right, that you can particularly use in Google VEO3 or Flow in order to be able to turn that into, a video. Now, think of it this way. First, you have to have an idea in mind about what it is that you want to generate. Okay, so let's assume, for example, that you want to showcase a giant piece of steak being or getting cut pretty much on a particular, I don't know, on a particular, farm. Okay. Now, come over here, maybe search giant steak cutting. Um, and you can search for some images here if you can maybe find something. Not generally speaking, you won't find the types of images that I am doing because those take a lot of creativity. But for those of you that want to get some in-depth knowledge about this, then go back and go no further than the previous videos where I've taught how you can generate such images, all right, and how you can use ChatGPT to do this, right? But one of the things that you can do is you can use your own imagination and you can try to fix a prompt that will allow you to generate such stuff. The tool that will permit you to do this is none other than Sora AI. But I'm not talking about the new version of Sora. I'm talking about the old version of Sora, because in this case, we're only interested to generate images. And so, therefore, if you go back to the old version of Sora, you have an option, which is to generate an image. Okay. Now, of course, the size is 3 by 2. It's the closest you can get to a 16 by 9, but you can get some ideas here. These are some examples of what some people are doing. And of course, most of this stuff is used to create short movies and the sort, and memes and a bunch of other stuff, but mostly content, mostly video content. Okay. There's a lot of people that use this for visual content as well, for posts and stuff. But for the most part, is this tool is used to create an image that then can be turned into a video. Okay, because videos go much more viral than images, and that's that. All right, now over here, no, this one is interesting. It's Voldemort, Balenciaga Voldemort, and this is for sure Dumbledore, though he doesn't look a lot like him, but that's, I believe, is Dumbledore. Now, in order for you to be able to generate an image using Sora, you have to describe it. So I'm gonna say the following: a colossal steak being cut on a gigantic meat cutting board with a massive sharp knife uh, from the sky. The hand is cutting the steak, or the wagyu. Let's say wagyu. All right, wagyu steak perfectly. The steak is much bigger than mountains. There's a small house in the area that looks like a speck compared to the giant steak. And you can hit the submit command. And of course, what that will do is it will start the process. Now, you can try to compare the quality, or the image generation quality, of Sora versus Google Gemini. For instance, if you go to Google Gemini, they also have their own image generation tool, which is called Google Nano Banana, or otherwise known as Nano Banana, to put it simply. This tool is the bane of Photoshop. After this tool has been dropped, I believe that Photoshop pretty much lost a lot. And you can use this tool by just simply clicking the create image button, and that will just allow you to start creating an image with it. And this tool can create pretty good images, specifically thumbnails. If you're always struggling to create your thumbnails, I might recommend you to just use this tool to create them for you. But it's also pretty good at creating normal images. Now, here, as you can see, this is an example image. It's pretty cool, but I believe that Sora is always, when it comes to these types of images, Sora can be a lot more powerful. All right, and you can see here how powerful this tool can be. Now, not to say that this is not powerful, but it's absolutely it's absolutely good. But this one, I believe, has more of a finer touch. Okay, I believe so. Now here, when I said steak, I didn't say a raw steak. I didn't add raw steak there, and so therefore, the steak image that was created was that of a steak that is pretty much not raw. Okay. Now here, a colossal steak being cut on a gigantic meat board. Now, how about this? How about if I want to generate a variation of this? Now, you have a tool at your disposal, which is ChatGPT, So you can go to ChatGPT here and you can just say, I want to generate a variation of this prompt, except for I would like, or I could say, I would like to switch the steak with a giant tuna and the environment with a massive ship, but the tuna is colossal. Humans look like ants next to it. A giant hand is cutting it in half from the sky. And then you could, between brackets, paste the prompt that you want to use as inspiration, hit submit, and it will proceed. Now, of course, when you get your prompt, you can try it on both fronts. Now, it says here vertical. I'm going to edit. I'm going to say not vertical. Should be 16 by 9. I just want to make that clear because I'm not here. We're not creating content that is, short form content. We're creating long form content. So therefore, I could copy this particular prompt right now and get back to Sora AI, and I could just paste it in and hit submit. Nothing easier than that. Then, for comparison, go back to Google Gemini. Now, a key or a very interesting thing to know about Gemini, if I were to paste this prompt in exactly this same chat here, the odds are the result is not going to be great. And that's from experience, and actually a lot of experience with this tool. So when you're trying to generate an image that's completely unrelated to another one, even if it's, inspired by it, always make sure to open a new chat here and then create an image from scratch. That would be much better, trust me. Okay? Because when you're in the same chat, Google Gemini and even ChatGPT, it keeps a track of the history, the chat history. And so therefore, it can give you biased results, even if your prompt is precise. But it can give you biased results because of that fact that you're in the same chat. There is chat memory, if you have heard of such a thing. Now you can see here, this is an example. All right, this is a cool example of another image. And of course, you can get the idea right now. So right now, the idea is, if you think about this, all right, so what is it that I want to generate? That's what you would start to try to think about right now. Now, how about this? We'll do one more before moving forward because I need to edit this video with you and also show you, one very small or quick way on how you can turn that kind of stuff into videos using Google VEO3. But how about you create something completely out of this world, completely incredible and cinematic. How about I say, I want to showcase a giant, a giant, uh, fishing net caught a gigantic octopus. Actually, I would use the word colossal. Words do have meaning. Colossal octopus and pulling it slowly into a colossal ship in the middle of the ocean. Workers look like specks compared to the giant squid, or not squid, that giant octopus. I don't know why I keep mixing octopus and squid. Maybe it's, I'm not sure if they're from the same family. They both have tentacles, kind of weirdly, but I don't think they are from the same family. All right, so here I'll take this prompt and I'll just paste it right over here in Google Gemini, or not Google Gemini, sorry, in Sora. Then I'll go back to Google Gemini. I'll click the create image button and I'll paste. All right. Okay, so I'll send. By the way, you can use Nano Banana even if you don't have access to the pro version of Google Gemini. Okay, so there's no reason to basically fret about that or be afraid. Okay, so here it's catching the fish. Now this is Nano Banana. I have to admit, it's massive. Let's check. Sometimes, by the way, sometimes I actually pick Nano Banana's images. Okay, because it captures the exact that I want sometimes. But far off often than not, I use Sora. Okay, and the reason is for its high quality and realism. Not to say that Nano Banana is not high quality, but Sora has just that extra high quality, extra realism, and you can just see this. You can just feel it by just looking at both. All right, the attention to detail that Sora has is just insanely incredible. All right, so it's not like the one of with Gemini. Now over here, supposing that in this case, I'm gonna go with the Gemini version. Okay, supposing you want to use this image. Okay, first, this is not a great quality image. Okay, even though you might think oh, it's great, but this needs upscaling. And one of the tools that I use for upscaling is none other than Canva.com. Okay, Canva.com. And these are really some unorthodox practices, but they are really, really cool practices. So here, in terms of Canva, if you go to Canva, you just go and look for YouTube thumbnail in the search. You can search for it, or you can find it here. If you don't find it here, just type thumbnail, all right? And then it will showcase YouTube thumbnail here, right? Now, once you found it, open a new project. When it opens in, by the way, my bad. I'm actually showing you the wrong thing here. All right, let me go back. It's not about the YouTube thumbnail here. I went in a completely different direction. But let's say you want to look for something, whether that is a YouTube thumbnail, whether that is a landscape image, a video, whatever it is you're trying to create. Canva makes it easy for you here, and it gives you a lot of templates and a lot of sizes to pick from without having to have knowledge about which size should an Instagram post be at. Canva makes it easy for you because it keeps track of all the sizes of all the popular sizes here, and it allows you to just create a project like that. Now, for an image, 16 by 9 is what I would go for because it's just when you make the image bigger and upscale it, it just increases the quality. And then here, I would like to paste the image from Nano Banana and just scale it, scale it. And of course, click the edit button. And then right here, there is the option image upscaler. And the image upscaler option allows me to 8x the quality of this image, which is really cool. Okay. So imagine increasing the quality of your image by 8 times. Now, I must insist on this because for you to have a great video, you need a great quality image, especially if you're using Google or Google VEO3. Okay, because it needs a high quality image. The higher the quality of the image, the better the video quality. Now, here you can just click on the replace option. And what that does, of course, is it replaces the previous low quality with the new and improved quality. And then you could go ahead and, of course, edit your image by auto adjusting. And that kind of gives it a much better feel. And I could just magically erase the logo of Google Nano Banana or Google Gemini. Actually, that's Google Gemini's logo or watermark. Then I could now take this image and I will sure make it part of my movie. All right. I'll sure make it part of my movie. But first, in order to animate something with Google VEO3, you need a prompt. If you're not so good with prompting, always this is what I want your brain. This is how I want your brain to think. If you don't know how to prompt, always go back to ChatGPT or to Google Gemini and have them create the prompts for you. Okay. How? Well, that's what we're going to check right now. So I'm going to name this project as Colossal Octopus. All right. And then I'll click the share button down. And once I have my image, I could then go to ChatGPT and I could drag the image. Right? There's nothing better than an image to describe something. And if you try something in ChatGPT, it would be better if you just upload an image. So I upload that image, then I'm going to say I would like to animate this image attached into an 8-second video using Google VEO3. No music, just pure sound effects. Interpret the image and figure out the best possible way to animate it. And of course, I should give it some time because now with the new ChatGPT models that are out there, especially this one I'm using, is called ChatGPT 5.2 Thinking. It's a thinking model. So therefore, it takes more time to think, but hopefully, as they say, the quality is better. Well, that's actually what they say. I definitely have no idea about that. Whether that is true or untrue. That's of course left to the or should be left to the imagination. But I found that ChatGPT has been evolving over time. So it is true that it has been evolving over time. Okay. All right. So of course, this is the response. Okay. Use the attached image. Da, 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 da. All right. So hopefully, this prompt is going to suffice. And for that, I'm gonna have to go ahead, check it out. Here we go. So I would like to click use the attached image. All right, audio, no music. Okay, I'm not gonna use that negative, whatever that is. I'm gonna go into Flow or labs.google.com, and here I would like to use the frames to video option, and I would like to go for. Actually, in this case, I'm gonna go 2 generations at a time, and I'm gonna go with landscape size, and I'm gonna first before pasting I would like to upload my image first because you need to upload your image before you can turn it into a video. And so my image is the colossal octopus. By the way, if you want, you can scale or you can crop parts of this so that you can maybe focus a little bit more on the octopus, or you can just leave the image in exactly the same size as it was if you don't want to crop anything. And then here you can paste your prompt, which is what I'm going to do. So I'll paste the prompt. And usually it takes about 60 seconds at most for Google VEO3 to generate the video. All right, so it doesn't really take that much, but it's worth it to wait for such an image because it can be an incredible asset. All right. So it seems that we have the first glimpse. Usually, when you're generating two videos at a time, first one is gonna be generated 5 seconds before the second one, and they give you two options. If you pick two options as the output, let's check this one out. I don't like this one because it seems like the octopus magically got out of the. Okay, let's see. So the thing is, I need to redo the prompt. I don't need any sounds whatsoever of the workers. And so therefore, I'm going to say I don't need any human sounds or speech. I just need a slow motion showcasing how they will pull the trapped octopus. The octopus is supposed to be trapped inside of that giant net with no way out, showcasing how brutal or not. Well, whatever. I'm going to leave it at there. I'm not going to go philosophical here. And so I'm afraid I'm going to have to go back and again click plus. I'm going to select the same image this time. Only this time, I'm not going to crop it and make sure this is set to 16 by 9, two images at a time. Then I would go back to the chat. And I don't know why is it that these prompts are so gigantic here, but I'm going to give them a try. The first results that we had were not so bad after all. So I'm going to paste this right here and of course wait for it to give me a result. All right, so we have the first couple of results. This one is absolutely a piece of art. Absolutely. Okay, let's check the second one out. Maybe the second one is better. The second one is not that. Okay. And so therefore, I'm gonna have to go with the first one. Now, when you make a choice, you need to click the download button. And here, I'm gonna go for the upscaled one, 1080p. And in the meantime, if you haven't installed CapCut yet, go ahead and install CapCut because we're gonna need it. All right, so you're gonna need it for this. Now you can install CapCut by searching for CapCut and then go to CapCut.com. Do not go to any other website besides CapCut.com. If you select another website, it's on you because you can download a CapCut version with malware and you can end up having somebody hacking into your email or something like this. And so take it serious and do not play with this. CapCut.com is the original company. It's, by the way, the one that it's created by ByteDance, which is the tool, which is the company that created TikTok. And they also created C-Dance recently, which is a company that is massively competitive with tools like Google VEO3 and Sora 2. Okay. And so, therefore, I wouldn't recommend that you select any other option because some countries are not permitted to use CapCut. Therefore, some people find themselves obliged to download CapCut from third party sources that are not trusted. But these third party sources are called non trusted for a reason. If they're non trusted, then why are you trusting them? Right? So do not trust them. That's all I'm going to say. And when you go to CapCut.com here, you can download if you have Windows. You can download it for free. If you want to download, if you want to try it online, you can do that as well. In my case, I have CapCut already downloaded, and so therefore, I just need to go ahead and use it. In the meantime, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get all my scenes in one place. It took me quite a while to create all these scenes, and so I'm gonna assemble all these scenes together to a movie. And I'm using a non-copyright music that I want to use as part of this magnificent movie. I'm not sure where I put it. Let me search for my music here. Yeah, there it is. Silent Memories. I'm gonna have to go get that one and place it here. It's MP4, but I can extract the audio out of it. Now let's open CapCut. This might actually show some graphic stuff, when it comes to the creation and editing of the movie itself. It might actually showcase that for those that are not very strong at heart, I recommend that you don't watch. But then again, we're making a documentary style video. So right now, I'm going to click the plus button, baton, and we're going to start a project. So here we go. This shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. But then again, I'm a CapCut expert. All right. So first and foremost, I'm going to start putting scenes together. And I would like to start off by putting the first scene, or I would just, actually instead I would take all the scenes and I'll drag them right over here into the mix. And as far as I can see here, they're added in this way. Okay. What I could do is I could zoom in and zoom out. Here is what is the first. I like it. But I'm going to start switching scenes and putting scenes separately. Put the ones with the animals first. We'll come to the ocean later. So this is how I envisioned this movie. It's graphic, but it conveys a message. The shark. I'll leave the fish, and I'll show the fish together. In one. So I'll put this as the last scene, and now after the animals, I'm going to start putting the fish. But I think that yeah, the lion. This one should be the king of the jungle. I'll put it first. I'll put the tiger after it. Come on, this is where this should be, and this the snake. The snake should be right at the end. And now, of course, for the fish, I'll put the shark first, then the whale, then the giant octopus. Do we have some more fish? Where is it? Yeah, we have the tuna footage. I would place it right over here. So now I'm gonna put the meats. I'll put this one of this gigantic steak, and after it I'll put chicken, and then after it I'll put, and I have another footage of meat cutting. This is about cattle. Put it there. What else? All right, I don't think there's anything there. I'll put the forests being burned. I'll put this scene, and then I can put some other. For this other stuff, I think that I could just leave it like so, you know. But now I'm gonna have to start maybe cutting a couple of things that I don't want to be present in my scene. For example, here I want to stop this right about this point. And I'm gonna start watching. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this part. All right, and, you know, there is a part where he actually pulls and puts it back, and I don't want that, you know. That's it. I'm gonna stop it right there. That last part, I'm gonna cut it. Then for this one, that's it. That's it. I'm gonna cut, and I'm gonna actually take this particular scene and go to speed. I'm going to lower the speed to maybe 0.6 or 0.6-ish. Then we have the one with the bear. Let's just, yep. That first part needs to be removed because it seems like he was stabbing it. Yep, I should remove that part again. This is how I want my animation to be. And of course, I'll remove the last bit, and then I'll go to the speed, probably speed it, lower the speed just a little bit. For the snake, I think that I'll do the same. Go to speed. If we watch it right now, I think that I just lowered the speed so much. That's too much. I can cut this bit. I can cut the last bit. Here for this one, I don't think we need to cut anything. Yep, and then that last bit when it fades, I wouldn't want that. I'll remove it out of the picture. Piece of art. Yeah, and I can just remove the last bit. So I'm going to reverse it because I want the ocean water suction. I don't want the machine to, you know, drop in the ocean. But it seems that when I was generating, there was things shows the opposite. It shows that the machine, instead of sucking the water from the ocean, it's putting the water back in. But this is something that you can edit using, which is called the reverse tool. Okay, and right now you can see that it looks like the machine is sucking the ocean instead of, you know, what it was doing at the beginning. We have the credit card scene. Yeah, that fade out, I would want that. So probably just cut just around about here, and then let's just keep watching. Yeah, these are all really, really good scenes, you know. I would want to keep the hand there, you know, I wouldn't want to remove it. This one is one of my best scenes. But I would want to cut the last bit. Dropping of the garbage. And of course, I would want to cut that. Go back here. These are bottles being dropped into the ocean. Big, gigantic plastic bags. And finally, nuclear weapon. I'm going to cut right there. I think this should be enough. Now, as far as all the scenes, I would like to make a selection of all of them and go to audio here. I would just like to increase the audio volume. Now here in basic, you have that option of increasing the volume. It seems like there's kind of like a bug here that doesn't allow me to, you know, but increasing the audio a little bit, and then now is the time for me to add the music because I need a background music, I figured. And I found this particular music that just doesn't sound so bad. Now here, I'll drop it, but and then I'll just go and delete this one, you know, by clicking and deleting. And I just want to keep the music. So I'll cut the last bit that I don't need. I'll fade it out and then lower the volume a bit because I don't want it to overwhelm the sound. And of course, I can select all the scenes together at the same time and go to the adjustment option. And I'd like to auto adjust it and make a color correction. I would not like to make a color correction at a very high level, but I'd like to make a color correction that is enough. And then I would like to put a title to this movie. So I'm gonna go to Google Gemini, or not actually not Google Gemini. I'm gonna go to Sora, you know, and I'm gonna ask it to generate a design with the text humanity and a transparent background. 3x2 sounds just about right for me. I'm gonna say generate a cool design, right? That has the word, or that says humanity with a transparent background. Okay. The key here is for the background to be transparent. Now, will you have a look at some of the crazy stuff that people are creating, such as this samurai cat? You need to take some inspiration from that because there's a lot of cat channels. We will try to target this as well in this particular course. But cat channels are incredibly successful. And if you know how to create such content, you can do really, really well for yourself. All right. Of course, if you are lucky, because with these algorithms, there's no such a thing as working hard pays off. There's only, for the most part, it's about luck. How lucky are you? You can have the best content out there, but then again, that doesn't really mean that you will be the greatest. Okay, this is not what I intended. I'm gonna have to go with matrix like text, futuristic, but also doomsday, like no design, just text. These sound like cartoon logos, which are definitely not going to go well with a movie that has the goal to showcase the impact of humanity. Okay. And so, therefore, I will definitely not go with either of them. They don't look pretty nice. This one looks the closest. Use that logo right about the beginning of my video before that step, and that should be it. Okay, we have two logos, and you get to choose which one you want. I'm gonna go with this one. And first, to be able to use this, I will have to download it. You can download it by clicking here, or you can just simply click the three dots and then click download. Now, let's go back to CapCut. I'm gonna click the import button, and I'd like to import my logo that I have just created. So this is my logo. I'm gonna drag it right about here. It has a transparent background, so that's pretty cool. And then I'm going to go and zoom in. I don't want to show the logo for a lot. I want to show it just right about here, and then I can just go and trim that bit. It doesn't have to be this big, so I can scale it like so. I can make sure I position it right over here. And I can also scroll down in terms of the video options, the transparency of any object. And I'd like to make the transparency maybe at around about 60, 70% maybe. And an animation, of course, would be interesting to add. So I'd like to add an animation on in and out. Let's check some of the futuristic animations. It has a stack of animations in and out. Now, the animations for images are not the same animations for graphics. This image here, because it's a PNG, or it could be a JPEG or whatever it is, but as long as it's an image format, you will have a stack of different animation types, as opposed to if you're using some of their graphics here by checking the stickers option and looking for graphics. If you pick one of these, you will have a very limited stack of animations at your disposal, but as a tool limitation. Okay, so here you can choose a bunch of animation, and it seems like we have, quite a lot. There's a magic animation, whatever. All right, let me check this out. I'm not sure which one I want to use really. I'm gonna go with smoke on exit, and on in, I'm gonna go with probably. I think the ripple effect is good for this type of stuff. I might want to move this. Now we can go ahead and watch this, but first, I'll make sure this is 16 by 9, even though I know for sure it is 16 by 9. And I will zoom to fit the timeline, and then I'll select all of my videos just to ensure that there is no small line there. I'm not trying to hide the VEO3 watermark. That doesn't really make sense if it stays there. And besides, I'm mentioning that this movie was generated with the aid of Google VEO3, so it's not like I'm hiding it. All right, so now this is ready. I'm afraid I can't go full screen and watch because. So I'll keep this at, I'm not going to go full screen, but we can watch this like this so that you can get an idea. I think that I'm gonna have to increase the music volume a little bit. All right, so that sums up this short movie of ours. I think that I need to maybe just get the music sound back to its normal quality. And of course, as far as this, in terms of the audio, I'll probably just bring it back to normal. I think that this would be much better. Now, as far as the animation is concerned, I was thinking maybe no animation in and only add animation out. So it makes a lot more sense. And now I think it is time for me to export my project. So I could export the project by clicking export, and so can you. Now, this is 3 minutes. All right, so 2K. I think I can go for 4K, no problem. And if you go for a higher frame rate, that will also, I think, increase the size of your project. But offering a movie is pretty good. And you can pick a folder where you want to export this, just give it a name, and that's it. Click export, your project will be done. Now, another interesting thing about Capcut is for clips that are over 1 minute long, you can check for copyright. So if you click check copyright here, it should just start processing and checking copyright. And because I'm using this particular music, even though I searched and figured that this is non-copyright, but sometimes it might end up being a copyright. So I just want to make sure I check against. And it usually doesn't take more than a minute for CapCut to tell you whether your audio that you're using in your video is copyright material or not. And by the way, since I am using audio as well from the videos, from the VEO3 videos, sometimes that music patterns, and it can trick the YouTube algorithm into thinking that that is a non-copyright music. But in my experience, I found that even if it tricks them for a little while, and I'm not in any way trying to advocate for tricking the YouTube algorithm, it's all about being honest here. I'm not teaching you to go and trick the YouTube algorithm, but the YouTube algorithm can be quite slow. All right. Now, here's the thing I learned about it: detecting flaws in your content. And it might give you false confidence that you're thriving, that you're doing amazing, that everything is perfect, and you've just finally reached the top of the mountain, only to then figure out or find out the hard way that the YouTube algo will catch on to you, and they will potentially remove your channel from, if you're in a partner program, they will remove you from the partner program, or if you're even have some videos, they might actually start to give you strikes and remove your videos. And because there's a lot of people out there teaching a bunch of stuff, and they will tell you that you can do anything on YouTube. They will never catch on. This is how you can trick the YouTube algorithm. And in my experience, I figured you cannot trick, or you cannot bypass the YouTube algorithm for more than 2 months. 2 months. You can run array for 2 months, but then once they catch on to you, they'll catch on to you, definitely. And there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, you cannot escape. So it's better that you have honest content from the beginning. Don't try to trick anybody. Okay, so now it says check, or copyright was the sound copyright check passed, which means that there is no issue with that video. And that's that. I will put a wrap on this tutorial here, and I hope you've enjoyed it.